that are widely known to be factors affecting the country's development. For more, considering that the vision covers 4 political administrations, communication plays a vital role in ensuring that policies, projects, programs, and initiatives are aligned with and focused on realizing such vision, while taking into account current realities as well. It is in this light that building a wide coalition around the Ambisyon Natin 2040 is necessary. Hence, this series of activities with the Knowledge for Development community aims to communicate the vision to as many stakeholders as possible, especially the youth. Consult KDCs and participants on how they can help further enrich the discourse on the vision. Identify various activities or ways to contribute in achieving the goals to make sure that the vision is embraced by everyone. And document various comments and inputs on the results of the national survey generated from public consultations. And now let us head over to the presentation of the Ambisyon Natin 2040. That will be delivered by Mr. Gilberto Altura, the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, Region 6 Assistant Regional Director, who is, by the way, a Centralian and a former senator of the CPU Republic, 1982-1983. Kasama kami sa first revived na CPUR as senators before.
Thank you, Engineer Bitini Edhard Idemni, for recalling our student days here in CPU way back. That was 2016 plus 30, more than 30 years ago. So, and well, we're still here. So that means 24 years or 25 years of the plan is not really that long. Huh? First of all, I would like to greet Dr. Teodoro Robles, Sir, President of the Central Philippine University. The other guest or special guest as discussants in this today's forum, my friend, Mr. Piloteo Teng Palmares, who will be wearing his private sector hat here today. Dr. Joel Palma of the Philippine Agri-Herbal Tourism, a strong advocate of organic farming as well. CPUR Secretary in his line of Tumulto, I think representing the youth. My co-workers in government present here, the private sector, some are RDC members, familiar faces, and of course my colleagues at CPU, Dr. Bisaran and others. I taught here as well. Students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My task is to fill the shoes of my boss, Director Bacal, who could not be present today because of an equally important engagement at the NEDA Central Office. Okay, so this forum is part of a series of communication and advocacy activities of NEDA to really widen the awareness about the long-term vision of the country and also generate support, no, and ownership from all sectors. This is very timely because we are now preparing the medium-term blueprint for action of President Duterte, that is the Philippine Development Plan, and it will have its regional components. And we are currently also undertaking the preparation of the regional development plan for Western Visayas. I will present some slides first, especially those showing the Visayas results, no, of the survey that was conducted in order to come up with the long-term vision. So, okay. Okay, so prior to that, let me just say that this long-term vision is for 25 years. This is the basis for your unity among Filipinos. It's a vision, not a plan, which I will show later. It is anchored. It's going to be the anchor for development planning across administrations and guide our engagements with our international development partners. Okay, so for the process, there are four actually. First, an advisory committee was formed at the central level, composed of representatives from the government, private sector, the academe, and civil society, which framed the implementation process for this visioning exercise. Public consultations consisted of 42 focus group discussions with marginalized groups and a national survey of 10,000 respondents for those aged 15 to 50 years old from all classes, social classes. Technical studies were also conducted, led by Dr. Clarete, and to tackle specific aspects or areas of development. And then this one is part of the communication and advocacy, which is also aimed to generate suggestions later during the workshop, and especially in how to implement, no, to realize the vision. So, based on that process of survey, FGDs, etc., these are the results. An overwhelming majority of Filipinos aspire for a simple and what is meant by this? Simple and comfortable life. I will detail later, but this was expressed by 79.2% of the respondents. An affluent or higher level kind of life, about 17% and only around 4%. So highest siya. Sa simple and comfortable life, highest ang Mindanao. So, simple lang yung ang pangarap ng isang mga taga Mindanao, no, ambisyon. Ang Region 6, ano, it's more of a middle class life, right? 27.7% prosperous or affluent life. Taas-taas siya ang response dira, which means that in the Visayas, damo gid man niya siguro nga daan middle class, na? And they want that kind of lifestyle. Okay? The vision, the simple and comfortable life, when translated to Tagalog, ang ibig sabihin ay matatag, maginhawa, at panatag na buhay para sa lahat. It's the widely shared common vision for self and for the country So the motivation for aspiration is really the family and a comfortable life with the family that is free of hardship and worry, and families that have vibrant and that live in vibrant and resilient communities. So, himay-himayon ta ang simple and comfortable life. So, majority of the Filipinos would like to earn enough. Okay? 62% would like to own one car. 61% would like to have enough money for day-to-day needs. 61% owns a medium-sized home. 73% would like all their children to be college educated. And the other features of a simple and comfortable life that they would like to have is to relax with family and friends, to own a business, and able to take trips around the country. Okay, thank you. So a simple and comfortable life, when translated into monetary terms, would mean around 120,000 gross monthly income for the whole family. Okay? So breaking this down, this means that the 120,000, 10,000 of which will go to the college education of the children, 5,000 probably for the amortization for the car, 40,000 for the day-to-day needs, 30,000 for the house and lot, probably, amortization, 25,000 income tax. Hopefully this can be reduced. 4,000 for entertainment, relaxation with family and friends, and occasional trips, around 6,000 per month. In terms of occupation, many want to be entrepreneurs but want stable and regular source of income and insurance. So the desired, in terms of desired occupation nationwide, 47% prefers to be own an employer or owns a family farm or business. Okay, it's followed by being self-employed with no paid employee. So, naban sini do tiyanggi gid ni mo. And work for private establishment. Well, that's tied with working in the government, private or government employment, then work with pay in own, to be paid in a own business. So co-owner siya, and work for private household. Okay? Made mentality man Japan. Secure income from a decent job means good salary, enough wages, regular payment, and also having a business with good revenue. Benefits and incentives in terms of insurance and retirement, gusto man na sa mga tao, and of course, job stability or security. Let's go to the respondents from the Visayas. Ano ang ila desired occupation? So parehas man sa national level to be employed in own family farm or business. Pero dako ang work for private establishment rather than government. Ang government 21% lang, 33% ang sa private, no? Self-employed without any paid employee, 21% man, no? And, okay, so that's for the Visayas. In terms of preferred work location, the national survey says that 79% want to live in the same city where they work. Okay? And 14% want to work in the big city but go home outside the city, just like I do. Want to work and live outside the city. Okay. So preferred work locations ang mga taga-Visayas. Oh, pare-parehas man sa national level, 75% want to live within the same city where they work. Pero mas taas-taas ang living outside the city but working in the city. In terms of dwelling, okay, most respondents choose to live in houses with large lots, yet majority prefer to live in the cities. Okay? So at the national level, 73% want a small house with a big lot. 14% choose big house on a small lot. Just typical of subdivision house living, right? Pero ang small house with a big lot, rural living ini, no? So daw can you see the contrast now between the preference for where they would like to work and live and the kind of house that dwelling that they want to live in? Ha? Gusto laban mag-star kag magubra sa syudad. Pero gusto nila dako nga lot kagamay nga balay. See? Preferred community to live in, though pare-parehas lang, live in a small city in the province, Doroha City sa Capiz, na, or Calibo City later sa Aklan, or San Jose City sa Antique. Prefer to live in a big city like Manila. Prefer to live in the town center in the province. Town center. Okay. Could be Alimudjan or Kalinog. Dwelling in the Visayas, 66%. Small house with a big lot. So rural living ini, no? But of course, we know that eventually, metropolitan kita, no? Ang Oton, Santa Barbara, San Miguel, Leganes, ano pa? Dugahimo na nga partisang syudad, no? So, you feel like you're part of the city, but you're living in a relatively rural area. So, like Tess, big house with a big lot. Sa Liganes. And of course, 1% lang diriya choose the big house with a small lot. Subdivision living. In terms of preferred community to live in, mas damo diriya sa aton gusto to live in a town center in the province. Okay. So, though parehas ang akon preference. Personally, okay. Next, education. At the national level, most preferred field of study, education, science, and teacher training. Damo gusto magmaestra, kung magmaestro, no? National level, business administration next. Tapos to pare-parehas na IT, tourism, engineering, law, and jurisprudence. Let's look at Visayas. Oh, ano aton ako preference? Parehas man, no? Pero mas nubo sang sa national level. Mas nubo man ang business administration. Ano ang taas sa aton? IT, tourism, no? Law and jurisprudence. Wow. 12.2% to. Taas siya. So, damo gustong follow some footsteps probably ni the late Senator Miriam Santiago or Senator Franklin Drilon siguro, no? Mga abogado. Okay? Next, finances. Majority want enough money for daily needs. At the national level, this means that enough day-to-day needs, 61%. Savings for unexpected expenses, 28%. Savings, ang preference nila, ang gusto nila will be for sudden illness, natural hazards, and man-made calamities. Savings will also be used to buy car, build house, support retirement. So what did you notice? Those who are into economics, mga economics man kamo students, hindi. Sa economics, ang preference na sa savings, gina-invest, di ba la? Ang savings should be used for investment, especially for business, so that the economy would grow and expand. No? Because savings are used for investment, meaning it will generate more income, employment. So, grabe ang multiplier effect, ang ginatawag. Pero sa Pinoy nga mentalidad, based on the survey, ano ang gusto? Tas ang savings para sa personal na expense and security, build a house, support retirement, buy a car, para sa masakit, natural hazard. So, ang savings, especially sa Visayas, next slide, please. Enough para sa day-to-day needs, 65%. So, savings, gina-deposito lang sa bangko o kung ginatago sa baol sa balay. No? Amo na yung implications ng survey. Filipinos want to be mobile. Okay? Preferred mode of transport, 77% own car or vehicle. Public transport, 23%. Sa Visayas, I guess Visayas, itong next slide. Okay. 68% lang would like to own a car. Greater number would like public transportation. Okay, more on what is really meant by Filipinos wanting to be mobile. In day-to-day living and for leisure, that is important to the Filipinos. Car ownership as part of many families' vision, and traveling within the country or to other countries. Amuni ang most frequently cited leisure activity, and ordinary people measure their success, in terms of their ability to travel together with their families. Okay, in terms of the vision now, it is being translated as follows. So, matatag meaning the family is living together. More time with family and friends, meaning good balance between work and life. Maginhawa means freedom from hunger and poverty. Guaranteed mobility, secure home ownership, may balay kag duta, and have more leisure opportunities, no? In terms of travel or vacation, especially going back to relatives na mugina ang mga Pilipino. Panatag means resources are adequate for day-to-day needs and unexpected expenses. So panatag ang loob mo kay dako imo saving sa bangko. Security of place, passive income during retirement. See? So generally, Filipinos are not risk takers. Okay. So finally, let me just present to you ano na ang translation sining survey results into the vision of Filipinos. No? So Filipinos have vision for self as well as for the country. Okay. So ang Filipinos vision for self is that in 2040, we will all enjoy a stable and comfortable lifestyle, secure in the knowledge that we have enough for our daily needs and unexpected expenses, that we can plan and prepare for our own and our children's future. Our family lives together in a place of our own, and we have the freedom to go where we desire, protected and enabled by the clean, efficient, and fair government. So, amo na ni ang English sang Tagalog to kagina nga gin-present ko earlier, na, di ba? Matatag, maginhawa, panatag. So, amo na ni ang in-English niya. On the other hand, the vision for the country, hunger, local employment, and poverty are the main issues, no, that should be addressed. So 64% of the Filipino surveyed would prefer that no one is hungry in the country. It's followed by all Filipinos having a chance for adequate jobs. And then 50% said no one should be poor and everyone can go to college. So, poverty and education ang dako man nga preference. Okay. The next slide will show, is this the Visayas? Okay. So, sa Visayas, ang una to kaginan nationwide, no? Sa Visayas, parehas man gawa sila, no one is hungry, no? Pero ang naglain, all Filipino families have their own house. Amo gid niyang dako-dako nga preference ang taga Visayas. Next to no one is hungry. And also poor, no poor, and adequate jobs. Okay? So, mo niyang kinalain naton, no? Kag everyone can get treatment when sick. Pare-parehas lang man sa national level. Pero glaring giniya ang people owning their house and lot. No? May balay, gid, kag duta ang ambisyon sang laban sa Visayas. Another is concern nationwide, ini eradication of corruption. No? People in government nga response. It is okay, or government service. So, eradication of corruption followed by fairer enforcement of the law and then fast and easy processes. See? Hindi gusto sang Pilipino ang red tape, di ba? Order and safety in the community is also high, together with fast response towards problems and complaints. and enough avenues to be able to ask for help. Amuni ang mga major responses. In terms of importance, okay, green, okay. Initanan sila taas ang levels ng importance, no? Okay. Almost 100%. Lantawan tang Visayas. Interesting gawa ang aton. Mas nabuo siya sa national level. Ano maaton niya kinapaminsar diri sa Visayas nga aspects ng government service na una to ya what they would like for the whole country. Iniya ano nga serbisyo gusto nila sa gobyerno. Okay? So, ang aton dako yung responses. Amo-amo man, pero mas nubo sa national level. Ang fast and easy process taya, mas nubo pagid. So, meaning, ano ni? It's just slightly important. So aton niya nga mga taga-Visayas, the willing taya to go through the process. Right? Ang implication sini. Why gid man kita nag-aspirar sang padasigay lang nga proseso, no? We can follow the rules and regulations as long as it serves us well. Hindi corrupt, hindi budlay, okay? So, ang aton taas, poverty eradication man. Okay. So, mula na ang daw, for me, glaring, ining fast and easy service. And that's how I take it. And then, almost all believe that peace and security are important for personal prosperity and national development. And cultural diversity is also deemed important. Okay, so based on responses, for national and personal prosperity, ang peace and security taas, 75 and 78%, respectively. And for protecting cultures, 67% at national level. Lantawunta ang Visayas. Ang aton, peace and security, mas nabuo ang aton paglantaw sang importance compared to the average Filipino nationwide. But protecting cultures, also, slightly lang laban. Definitely important, daw taas man, pero nubo compared sa national level. Okay? And then finally, I think, yeah, muna ni ang in English ang vision for the country. By 2040, the Philippines shall be a prosperous, predominantly middle-class society where no one is poor. Our peoples will enjoy long and healthy lives, are smart and innovative, and we live in a high-trust society. Okay, so amo na ng translation. So amo na ang ginadala namon sa NEDA sa inyo subong nga komentahan ninyo later. Okay? So that's all for my presentation. Again, good morning everyone.
Thank you, sir. And while those are wonderful visions, let us hear how all these can be realized. To present, please welcome Miss Marie Jeanette Cordero of the NEDA Central Office to give us an idea on how the ambition natin 2040 can be achieved.
Ayon nga aga sa tanan. Before I will start my presentation, we will also show 2 video clips of former Secretary Emmanuel S. Guerra and Deputy Director General Rosemary Edelion. This is just a short a condensed version of the presentation.
Ano nga bang uri ng pamumuhay na gusto natin mga Pilipino? Our simple summation is matatag, maginhawa, at panatag na buhay para sa lahat. Or strongly rooted, comfortable, and secure life for all. The aspirations are family-centered. Even children aspire for a life that includes their parents. Gusto nila ng maginhawang buhay para sa kanilang pamilya na hindi nahihirapan at walang pag-alala. At kapag pinagsama-sama ang mga pamilyang Pilipino na ito, sila ang pagmumula ng isang economically vibrant society and resilient community. When we asked our respondents to tell us their aspirations, we asked them to describe to us what it is that they want to have, to do, and to be by 2040. An overwhelming majority, halos 80%, ang nagsabi na nais nila ng simple at maginhawang buhay. Halos 17% lamang ang nagsabi na gusto nila ng buhay ng may kaya at mas mababa pa sa 4% ang naghahangad ng buhay mayaman. Ano kaya ibig sabihin naman ng simple at maginhawang buhay? Kung ating titingnan ang pagkakalarawan nito, masasabi nating ito ay isang middle class lifestyle. May sasakyan, may bahay, may sapat na pera, at nakapagtapos ng kolehiyo ang mga anak. Nang tinanong naman namin sila kung ano yung gusto nilang magawa pagdating ng 2014, halos pare-pareho ang nagsasabing gusto nila na makapagpatakbo ng sarili nilang negosyo at makapag-relax kasama ng pamilya at kaibigan. Marami rin na nagsasabi na gusto nila makapagbakasyon sa Pilipinas man o sa abroad. Tungkol naman sa decent job, ang pagkakalugan pala nila dito ay mayroong maayos na sahod na sapat para sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na pangangailangan at para sa biglaang gastusin. So, mayroong benefits at incentives at stability. Kung isasabay naman natin dito yung klase ng worker na gusto nilang maging, makikita natin na nakakahigit ang nais makapagtrabaho para sa sarili nilang business. 47%, 22% at 18%. Saan naman nila gusto magtrabaho? Halos 90% actually ang nagsabi na gusto nila magtrabaho dito sa sarili nating bayan. Halos 80% ang gusto magtrabaho at manirahan sa parehong syudad. Kulang sa 15% ang gusto magtrabaho sa syudad pero umuuwi naman sa labas ng syudad. Sa usapin naman ng bahay, nagpakita kami ng iba't ibang larawan ng klase ng kabahayan. Merong single detached, apartment, row house at condominium. Na halos 3 sa bawat 4 na respondent ang pumili ng small house with a big lot. Tinanong din namin kung saan nila gustong tumira. Halos pareho din ang dami ng nagsabi na gusto nila sa maliit na syudad o sa malaking syudad gaya ng Manila, at mas marami ang nagsabi na nais nilang manirahan sa town center na sa probinsya. Halos lahat ng respondent ay nagsabing nais nila makapagtapos ng kolehiyo ang kanilang mga anak. Tinanong naman namin ang mga kabataan na hindi pa nakatapos ng kolehiyo kung ano ang gusto nilang kurso or major fields of study na napili ng marami naman ay education, business administration, IT, tourism, and hospitality, engineering, law, and medical fields. Mahalaga rin sa bawat Pilipino na maayos ang kanilang finances. Para sa 61%, dapat daw ay sapat ito sa pang-araw-araw na pangangailangan, at samantalang 28% naman, ang gusto nila ay mayroon sapat na ipon para din sa mga di inaasahang gastusin. Ang mga unexpected expenses na to ay maaaring dahil sa pagkakasakit or mga natural hazards at man-made calamities. Ang ipon din ang inaasahan nila na panggagalingan ng pambili ng sasakyan, bahay at pangsuporta sa retirement. So, Filipinos want to be mobile. Halos 8 sa bawat 10 respondent ang nais ay magkaroon ng sariling sasakyan. at dalawa lamang ang mas gusto ng good public transportation. Kahit na sa focus group discussion ay lumalabas ang kahalagahan ng physical mobility sa mga Pilipino. Ang pinakagustong leisure activity ay ang pamamasyal sa iba't ibang lugar sa Pilipinas o sa abroad. Kasama na sa pamamasyal ang pagdalaw sa kanilang mga magulang. So, heto ang aming pagsasalarawan ng kalidad na buhay na nais ng bawat Pilipino. May sariling bahay, sa isang urban center o syudad, may sasakyan, nakakapagbakasyon at nakakadalaw sa kanilang mga magulang na may edad na. In other words, here is the vision of Filipinos for self. In 2040, we will all enjoy a stable and comfortable lifestyle, secure in the knowledge that we have enough for our daily needs and unexpected expenses, that we can plan and prepare for our own and our children's future. Our family lives together in a place of our own, yet we have the freedom to go where we choose, protected and enabled by a clean, efficient, and fair government. And that is the life we want.
Next is a short video of realizing the vision. This video was taped by former Secretary Emmanuel Esguerra.
I guess at this point, the question that many of you may have in mind is whether this vision is realistic. For us in NEDA, the answer is a resounding yes. It is possible with the right policies. We recognize, however, that government has a critical role to play in supporting the realization of these aspirations. Government needs to provide enabling conditions to help Filipinos build up their resources, including physical, intellectual, and financial, by fostering sustained economic growth, investing in people, and protecting them against instability. The government also needs to provide the appropriate rules of the game and ensure that these are enforced fairly and equally. Sustained public investments to close the country's infrastructure gap will be important in removing bottlenecks that have limited the potential of various sectors of the economy and in allowing the benefits of growth to be spread more widely. We also need to provide an environment that fosters competition and rewards innovation, as they are critical for long-term growth. Government also needs to sustain public investments in the country's most important asset, its people. Investments in health and education will ensure the availability of a healthy, highly trainable and skilled labor force, allow the poor to benefit more from growth, and foster the development of a more entrepreneurial society. The state also needs to adequately protect the citizens against social, environmental, and economic instability. This includes the provision of protection against peace and security threats, as well as health and environmental risks. As regards institutions, the FGD and survey results clearly indicate the strong demand for a clean, efficient, and service-oriented government. Filipinos believe that eliminating corruption is important in achieving a better future. Not only large-scale grand corruption, but also small-scale, petty corruption, the kind that victimizes the poorest among us. Ease and efficiency of government transactions is likewise considered important. Empirical studies indicate that with the right policies, improvements in productivity and efficiency can triple our gross national per capita income to about $11,000 in 25 years, allowing majority of our people to enjoy nearly high-income country standards of living. Note that over the last 33 years, 1981 to 2014, we were only able to raise our real per capita income by 1.8 times. In contrast, without reforms, per capita income can only grow to around $5,000 over a period of 25 years. That is not even double the current level of $3,500. The impact on poverty will depend both on the robustness of economic growth as well as how it is distributed. Weak income growth coupled with elevated disparity in income can weigh down the efforts to eradicate poverty. On the other hand, if inequality declines significantly, poverty cuts are deeper, and the process of eradicating poverty is shorter. The analysis suggests that if strong growth is accompanied by reductions in inequality, poverty could be eradicated before 2040. In other words, this will only be obtained if economic growth continues to be robust and inclusive. What does having a per capita income of $11,000 mean? A concrete example would be Malaysia, whose per capita income was at $11,120 as of 2014. It actually took Malaysia 33 years to triple its real per capita income. Note that using the new $1.90 a day international extreme poverty line, Malaysia has managed to reduce extreme poverty incidence below 1%. We therefore believe that by 2040 it is very possible that the Philippines shall be a country where all citizens are free from hunger and poverty, have equal opportunities, enabled by fair and just society that is governed with order and unity. A nation where families live together, thriving in vibrant, culturally diverse, and resilient communities. The road to realizing this vision is filled with challenges, however. Firstly, it needs to survive a change in administration 4 times over the next 25 years. It will also require a lot of patience, as not all our ambitions will be achievable immediately nor simultaneously. We will also have to sustain the momentum over a period of 25 years under changing conditions, requiring adjustments and flexibility in our strategies. So what does this imply in terms of our next steps? It means we will need to build a broad constituency for the vision and the reforms needed to attain it. Among others, this will involve a good communication strategy to communicate the vision to all stakeholders so as to gain widespread recognition and acceptance. The vision also needs to be translated into specific goals, measurable targets, and intermediate milestones, while allowing for flexibility in strategies. We will need to take into consideration the country's international commitments under the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs. The strategies needed to achieve these targets will then be the subject of our next 4 Philippine Development Plan. Institutional arrangements may also have to be adjusted to ensure horizontal and vertical policy coherence and sustained implementation. As I mentioned earlier, it is clear to us that government needs to play its role in making this vision a reality. But clearly, we cannot do this alone. We will need everyone's help and cooperation.
I hope you enjoyed the video. I will just add on to what former Secretary Esguerra has laid out in this, in what are the steps in realizing the vision by 2040. So there are several actions that is expected from the government and also from the private sector to support the goals that are envisioned in the long-term vision. So first, on the side of government, we firmly believe that the vision is achievable, just like former Secretary Esguerra said. We recognize that it will be challenging and requires government to make full use of its policy arsenal, including fiscal, monetary, and regulatory policies. For fiscal policy, apart from supporting macroeconomic stability, our spending program should strategically address capacity constraints, increase competitiveness, encourage innovation, reduce inequality, and build up resiliency. Among the priority sectors that should be considered are those related to the housing and urban development, manufacturing, and connectivity. So more on the hard infrastructure. And also in education, tourism, finance, health, and agriculture. So actually this is, the priorities are cross-cutting in nature because we would want every sector to be part of development. Well, this is also um, in line with the tenets of inclusive growth, that no one is left behind. So what will it take? On the other hand, monetary and financial sector policy should support low and stable inflation, steady growth, and financial inclusion. Regulatory policy should be geared towards promoting competition, reducing externalities and cost of doing business, ensuring consumer protection, as well as justice, security, and peace. So, I will be discussing the role of social policy in this long-term vision. Actually, medyo dako ang 120,000 for a family. Hindi nga maglabot ang sweldo sa ordinary Filipino. We believe that with a comprehensive economic and social policy, the effective cost of mobility, food, shelter, education, leisure can be reduced substantially, make it easier for Filipinos to achieve their aspirations. So, for a current middle class family, average income for 5 is 45,700. To reach 120,000 by 2040, this income level would have to grow by 2.6 times. To reach 57,000 by 2040, incomes would have to grow by a more achievable 1.25 times. So if we will undergo the reforms and the policies that needed to be in place for the next 25 years, we will have reductions in what is required for every aspiration. So overall, this can be reduced to a gross monthly income of 57,000, which is more or less more achievable than 120,000. So if the right policies are in place, for a car, because majority of Filipinos want to own a car, if the proper public transportation, efficient public transportation is in place, we could reduce that to 3,000 just for the daily commute. And then we can also, depends on the prices of basic needs for everyday needs of a family. We can reduce the 40,000 day-to-day needs from 40,000 to 20,000. So it depends on how the policies and the programs of government and how the private sector will support these policies. We can more or less have these goals more achievable for us. So that's what I've been saying earlier. So our 120,000 target could be reduced to 57,000 if reforms and policies that will enable us to better achieve our goals. For instance, an enabling social policy should help our young citizens avoid or at least recover from child marriage. This example is for a young girl, adolescent girl. At least to recover or avoid leaving school, repeat pregnancies, child illness, maternal morbidity, informal work, insecurity, and displacement. Just to illustrate, it is ideal if we have a strategic, comprehensive enablement policy that follows the life of an adolescent girl. The blue progression is the ideal life of a girl as she matures, which is made possible by a social policy. The red section is when the girl marries and gives birth at a young age. So a comprehensive and enabling social policy is one that supports the girl throughout her life stages, such that if a girl is in the red line, when she makes poor choices or is forced into a situation, social policies are in place to help her bring back to the blue line. So our intention is to translate the vision into the next 4 medium-term development plans of the country, while taking into account our international commitments like the Sustainable Development Goals. So actually, well, if everybody already knows, NEDA is in charge of crafting the Philippine Development Plan, mid-term Philippine Development Plan every 6 years, every administration. So, the ambition natin 2040 will cover 4 administrations. So, NEDA is in charge of seeing to it that in those 4 development plans, the long-term vision influences those plans. So, the sustainability of the long-term vision is rests on the ability of NEDA and government in particular to always remind the new administration that we have these sets of aspirations. So this will require strong ownership and buy-in by stakeholders and the country's leaders over the next 25 years. Each of these plans must build on its predecessor. We also have to sustain the momentum under changing conditions, requiring adjustments and flexibility in our strategies. Because we can expect that even in just 4 or 5 years, some situations will change. So we will have to change our strategies. But nevertheless, the end goal of the vision will always be there. As mentioned, the plans should build on each other so that by 2040, the Philippines will be, first, a prosperous and predominantly middle-class society where no one is poor, and a healthy and resilient society, and a smart and innovative society, and a high-trust society. For instance, to reach our goal of prosperity, the first plan could start with aiming for the reduction of poverty and inequality in the first 6 years, and eradicate extreme poverty by 2028, expand the middle class in the third plan, and eradicate poverty by 2040. Well, a higher growth trajectory can be attained beginning the second plan period if we are able to provide the basis of a higher demographic dividend during the current administration. The demographic dividend is realized as the economically productive members of the population greatly outnumber the independents. The next 5 years will see the highest number of women of reproductive age. This means that the biggest population momentum could happen during this current plan period. Thus, we need to significantly reduce fertility rate over the next 5 years, or else we will miss out on the demographic dividend altogether. To become a healthy and resilient society, the first plan could focus on expanding healthcare and implementing the RH law. The second plan on reducing morbidity, the third plan on promoting a healthy lifestyle, and encouraging wealth build-up and diversification. To become a smart and innovative society, the first plan could continue education reforms, the second plan on increasing learning opportunities, the third plan on improving the IPR framework, or intellectual property rights framework, and the fourth plan on encouraging research and development and innovation. To become a high-trust society, the first plan could focus on building trust in government, the second plan on promoting harmony in diversity, the third plan on cultivating national pride, and the fourth plan on building pride in our national identity. We note that what makes this new approach to our development planning is that it follows the bottom-up approach. And such, it is people-centered. We made an effort to know what people want first before laying out the strategies needed to attain them. So as the vision gets translated to 4 medium-term Philippine development plans, we are assured, therefore, that the plans will be people-centered as well, so that by 2040, the Philippines can be a prosperous, predominantly middle-class society where no one is poor, just like what I mentioned earlier. A healthy society where people expect to live at least 80 years, a smart and innovative society, and a high-trust society. So, what can you do to support this vision and turn it into a reality for Filipinos? It is clear to us that the government needs to play its role in making this vision a reality. But we cannot do this alone. We will need everyone's help and cooperation. So our question is, what can you do to support this vision in your own little ways, or in your own organizations, or in your own communities? And we would really love to know this today, and we hope in the breakout sessions we could have our brainstorming sessions be very productive. We would like to promote our Facebook page for the Ambisyon Natin 2040. Actually, you could see the pictures. If you have already taken your photos at the photo booth, you can see them at our Facebook page. You can check facebook.com/Ambisyon Natin 2040. And also, we have a website, 2040.neda.gov.ph. All of your questions about Ambisyon Natin 2040 can be answered by the materials found on the website. And thank you, and have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Okay, for our panel discussion, we gathered representatives from 4 sectors to share their insights, comments, and reactions regarding Ambisyon Natin 2040. Their comments and reactions should revolve around these 4 questions. Do you also share this vision? Is it something that we can all unite around and work for? What are the 2 to 3 important reforms, programs, or projects that should be institutionalized or strengthened to achieve Ambisyon Natin? Why and how? What are the possible risks in achieving Ambisyon Natin? How can these be managed? And 4th, what will be your role or contribution as an individual, group, or sector to realize the vision? Our panelists will be given about 10 minutes each. So let us welcome our first discussant is Dr. Teodoro C. Robles, President of Central Philippine University, representing the academe. Our second discussant is Mr. Filoteo Palmares III. He is the Executive Director of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Iloilo Incorporated. He is also the Investment Officer of PASI here in Iloilo and is handling the Uli PASI, or project for Balikbayans. Part of his advocacy as the Executive Director of PCCI Iloilo is to encourage small and medium entrepreneurs to join and become the pillars of the industry in order to contribute to economic development. Our third discussant is Dr. Joel O. Palma. He is the Director of the Philippine Agri-Herbal Tourism. He is also the proponent of the Philippine Medicinal Farm Tourism Philippines. Last but not the least, our fourth discussant is Ms. Layana Tumulto, a double major of AB Political Science and Public Administration at CPU, a member of the Dr. Rex Drilon Debate Society, official debating team of CPU, and serving as Secretary of our CPU Republic for this year.
Good morning, everyone. I think this is a great ambition, but of course, whether we achieve it or not depends on a lot of things. So I'm just going to say a few things about what I know and what I learned from my experience. Number one, we want to eliminate poverty. But to eliminate poverty, we need a big change in the attitude of people. Number one, because if you look around, there are those who are just happy with what they are. And the measure of poverty is not really the per capita income. We could have a per capita income of $100,000, for example, yet that will be skewed towards the rich people, like the Henry C's. So what would be a good measure for poverty? It should be number of people who earn an income below a certain level. Now, what is causing some of this problem? So I will focus on government policy. For example, productivity is affected very much by government policy. In agriculture, we are basically an agricultural country, and if we improve productivity, it will have a great impact on the economic life of the people, the farmers. But look at what happened. If you distribute land, a few hectares, to people, they will be only thinking about their own existence. Hence, and considering that they don't have the capital to buy fertilizer or to spend for pesticides, then they will always be in debt. And that's what we have experienced with the people who work in our farm. They don't have the ambition to rise above their level, and they are forever in debt. So if this continues, when we have people farming small tracts of land, productivity will always suffer. So that's government policy. What could have been done to improve agriculture? You know, we are dependent on rain. So how do you become, how do you achieve sustainable agriculture? Instead of dividing the land to many people, they should have improved irrigation. That's what happened in Taiwan, land reform in Taiwan. So the government made a mistake, and they thought that by spreading land to a lot of people, productivity will improve. So what is happening now, we are a rice-producing country, yet we buy rice from Vietnam. We eat a lot of rice because we encourage unlimited rice, right? We should have unlimited vegetables instead, and then we will not be dependent on rice. But anyway, that's government policy. And the second is, of course, greed. Greed of our public officials. For example, in one city, every time a developer builds a high-rise building, one floor is given to the executive of that city. So that makes the cost of the building high. Then public works. I remember when I was young, every time that there is a road construction, the district engineer will have a new house built ahead of the road. And how many times have we rebuilt the road? If we have rebuilt it without any corruption, then it would have lasted long. And there is good money, I think, in building roads because, look, they destroy asphalt roads, replace with concrete because in every project there is corruption. So how can we rise above this? It is us who should be doing a lot by electing the good people in our government. Well, I can expand on that, but I'll just touch on another issue. Education. We have educational reform, the K-12 reform. But what is happening, I think it is a great idea to have 12 years of basic education plus kindergarten. But look at what is happening, or what will be happening, you don't know it yet. Supposedly, general education subjects are moved to grade 11 and grade 12. And if you look at the curriculum of OFWs, they're too dependent on the parents and they don't even strive because, except for a few, because their parents are earning good money, so they don't have to worry. So the drive to succeed is no longer there for many of them. And I'm glad that there are many who are doing great in their education because their parents are really sacrificing for them. So, attitude of the people, education reform should be really a reform. Government policy, we'll have to make sure that they are not resulting the opposite of what they wanted. And of course, how do we stop corruption, which is a major hindrance to progress in this country. So maybe 40 years from now, either we achieve our goal or maybe we will be worse off than what we are today. Thank you very much.
Maya din nga aga sa atong nga tanan. First of all, I'd like to congratulate National Economic Development Authority, headed by their delegation of all the NEDA staff. Wala diri si Director, but you here today because this is a genuine opportunity for us to think and look forward into what we want to be in the future, maybe even far beyond 2040. Now, I am representing the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Iloilo chapter, headed by our President, Mrs. Donna Ratilla, and so with our other members in the Board of Directors of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I agree with President Robles that first thing first is to have that kind of the attitude, the mindset, which every Filipino should look into, because if we don't have the proper mindset, whatever kind of development undertakings or even development approaches that we will be undertaking, it will be a waste. Because if we don't have the kind of the proper mindset to really change ourselves from within our hearts and within our minds, we cannot do more and make a major change for us, for our family, and for our society. So there should be some kind of inner change especially not only on the material side of the picture, not only on the economic side of the picture, the social side of the picture, the kind of social and economic transformation. What I'd like also to suggest that we have to look into the spiritual side of the picture, because in everything that we do, we have to have divine guidance. And I would suggest that every Filipino should always look into our Lord for guidance, because everything that we do, everything that we plan to achieve will be only realized. The impossible could be made possible through the divine blessing. Now, if we have that, we can go into the other aspects of development. And I have been studying this ambition natin, not only today, but a few days already. And the framework that Director Esguerra has given us is a brilliant and a very noteworthy undertaking, because I have not seen the past few years when I started my work in government, in the private sector, I have not seen this kind of framework before, where we could rally behind this to make a major and significant change in the development of our country. But I would like also to single out major issues, especially on the issue of poverty and hunger. As an economist, if you don't have the money and you don't have the income and you don't have the opportunity, you are considered as poor because you cannot earn. Wala kasing kwarta sa imo bulsa, even to buy the basic needs of having breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Wala ka. You don't even have 100 pesos in your pocket. So if you don't have that, you're considered as poor. And why are we poor? Because we don't have, or even we have the opportunity, we don't work. We are not proactive. We are apathetic. We don't have the drive. We don't have the, that eagerness to look for work. So that is the most important thing, that every Filipino should have that really mindset and the enthusiasm to work and be employed. Once you are given that employment, all of us should collaborate together to have full employment. And this is my observation, being a member of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Iloilo. Taking into consideration the framework that was presented by NEDA, let us look into the bigger picture to address the issue of poverty and why we are poor. The main issue, or the bigger issue, is still unemployment. And the Department of Labor and even us could say that we have so many people, even young people, who are unemployed, or if they are employed, they are underemployed. We have many, even retirees who are also, like me, I am a retiree. To be a retiree, I am a senior citizen. Sooner or later, I might be out of work because I will retire from government service and from the private sector. So, ano nga akong employment? Wala ako sing employment. Kung wala employment, ano nga akong income to sustain my daily needs, to eat 3 square meals a day and have a decent living? So that's the basic question of today. Full employment, self-employment, not just partial employment. So, let us look deeper into the policy and maybe do some kind of analysis about government and even private in order to support, to have full employment. And the only thing that we have to maybe look into is how to develop entrepreneurship. We want each and every one of us to be successful entrepreneurs, especially you young people. If you would be entrepreneurs, you could fend for yourselves, not even your father and mother need to give you your daily allowance or even pay your tuition fees. So when I was also studying like you, I was working with our very small business and I earn a living. I have to earn for myself in order to pay for my tuition fee because we are 8 in the family. So it's still a problem of entrepreneurship, being a small entrepreneur or a big entrepreneur. If you look into the whole country today, according to our Assistant Secretary of the Department of Trade and Industry, yesterday I was in the Iloilo Convention Center, we have more or less 942,000 entrepreneurs in the whole country. Ang ining figure na ginhatag niya is very, very minimal compared to the total population. We are now around 100 million. And you have only 942 million, considering be 1 million pa. That's almost how many percent of the population? That's less than 10% entrepreneurs. And if entrepreneurs should be the foundation of the Philippine economy, kagamay-gamay sini, that cannot propel us to economic progress and prosperity. So, these 942,000 entrepreneurs, most of them are shaky. Shaky ang ilang situations. Most of them cannot avail of credit. We have to make some revolutionary measures along the trade, monetary, and fiscal policies, especially on the banking sector. Because you and me and everybody, hindi ka makadali-dali hulam sa aton mga bangko kay collateralized. Kung makahulam ka man, talagsa lang na tagaan ang character loan. So we have, I think, we in the private sector and government should look into this, that we will not make the banks only profitable, the banks, but also the banks and all of us, so that we will be able to earn a decent living and to be successful entrepreneurs. The micro entrepreneurs of today needed a lot of support from government. And government should look into how it will be able to assist them not only in availing of credit facilities, but also in giving them the proper knowledge and expertise for them to be able to grow up to year 2040. That is one big challenge for us. Second, the target of 1 million. The target of, let's say, they were talking yesterday about 5,000 entrepreneurs every year. This is insignificant. Well, I should say that for us, the government and the private sector should target every year, starting 2017, we will target to have 1 million successful entrepreneurs. That is why we encourage our fellow kababayans abroad, not only the OFWs, but also the balikbayans, to implement and initiate the Balik Investment Program for all balikbayans to be with the Bayanihan spirit to invest in their beloved country, the Philippines, so that we can create more jobs, we can have more businesses to provide the money for those members of the family who doesn't have the money because the banks will not give them and will not lend them money. So the Balik Investment Program is one of our intervention strategy in trying to create economic development for our country. We have the Ole Pasi Investment Program, where balikbayans, pasinhon from Lebanon, pasinhon from Hong Kong, pasinhon from the United States of America, pasinhon from London will be going back and assist us to develop and create successful entrepreneurs. together with the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So I would like to challenge us together in government, in the private sector, in the academe, that we will target 1 million or more entrepreneurs every year that will make it in the next 27 years up to the year 2040. We will have 27 million or more entrepreneurs. If we have more than, we have 50 million entrepreneurs, then I can say that we can be one of the best economy, not only in Asia, but in the whole world. So that is a big challenge. And how are we going to do it? We can start with having that kind of commitment. We have to have, we in the private sector, we have to have that commitment to serve our fellow entrepreneurs. We have to have that commitment to serve especially the most underprivileged and make them successful entrepreneurs, the poorest of the poor. That is our commitment for the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to see to it that we will have that target of 27 million or more successful entrepreneurs. Because